Now to the cutthroat world of small market TV. From the producer of The Office, True TV's Breaking Greenville takes viewers behind the cameras of two real-life rival TV news stations in one of the smallest TV markets in America, Greenville, Mississippi. I'm so happy to be joined by one of the stars now, reporter Lucy Biggers. Good morning, Lucy. Great to have you on this morning.
Good morning, Stephanie.
So typically, you're in my seat. How does it feel being on the other side of the camera here talking about your own show?
You know, it's really fun because I think I have this very unique perspective where I can be in both sides, so I hope I'm a good interview because I've been there.
Well, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it looks absolutely hysterical, and I can relate because I came from small town North Dakota. But explain what maybe viewers can expect when they tune into Breaking Greenville.
Well, it's a 30-minute show, and it's a very, upbeat, sort of comedic-paced show behind the scenes at my station and another station in town. And it sort of showcases our healthy rivalry between the two stations and kind of goes back and forth between the serious, when we're, breaking news events or, worrying about our ratings, to the more silly, day in, day out things that happen, I'm sure you know behind the scenes at these stations where, especially in the small markets, there's equipment breaking down or there's someone not showing up, and there's always sort of like this hair-raising, mentality, because the shows are coming on at 5 o'clock whether or not you're ready. And so it kind of really lends itself to this upbeat, chaotic, but fun environment, and it's really worth a watch. I've seen an episode, and I really liked it.
So where are you from originally? Did you grow up in Greenville?
I grew up in Fairfield. No, I did not. I grew up in the north. I grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, about an hour outside of New York, and then I went to college in Tulane in New Orleans. So I was already familiar with the southern culture, and so it's about a 5-hour drive north from New Orleans to Greenville. So it wasn't that big of a leap to get there after I graduated.
So, okay, yeah, you said New Orleans, right? So being in the business, like I said, I come from small town North Dakota where the biggest stories in town was the state fair. How do you think your audience members are going to react to these different stories that you cover, and really what happens in local news, because you really are giving people an inside look at what it really does look like?
I think that what people will really relate to is people, maybe not as much, the stories that we cover aren't really the focus. It's really like the people who are going and really care about their job. So I think that people will really relate to seeing us really trying to put on a good product and taking our jobs so seriously and our responsibility to our community very seriously, even when, maybe you have a bad day, but you have to go on. Everyone can relate to that, whether you're working as an accountant or you're working as a mom. You have to put on that smile. And when you work on TV, there's just happen to be cameras there documenting it. So I think that it's really relatable to people, for anyone, even if you haven't, worked behind the scenes at a station.
Yeah, I'm truly a good point there, too. I mean, that is one of the hardest parts of the job, is having to put on a smile every day, no matter what you're going through. So it can be pretty tough. Why do you want people to tune in, though? I mean, for them to see what it's like working at a news station like that. What is the appeal?
I love that question. Oh, no, I think that I think about this a lot, and I think that what's really cool is to bring a human aspect to the people who work in news, because we always see them and they're like, very serious, and that's so important, obviously, when you're delivering a story, but they're humans, we're all human, and so if it can just sort of humanize the business a little bit and maybe have people have a little bit more sympathy for what we do go through when equipment's breaking down, or like we said, you have a bad day, and I think that, any good story is a human story, and so if it allows people to connect more with their local station and to really appreciate the people on camera and appreciate their community, then I think that, our little show will have had a big impact. So, and also just tune in and be able to laugh with us and let go of your stresses, and sort of you can enjoy our stresses for you.
I absolutely love this. I mean, and reality shows too, having to do with news organizations in the past. There's been a few that haven't made it, but I feel like this one is different. You guys really just, worked it in a different way. So I think it's going to do really well, and I'm really excited for you. Did you expect that when you took this job in small market Greenville that this would become a reality show and people would not only be watching you on the local news, but now across the country? Did you ever expect that would happen?
No, not in a million years did I expect it, it's just one of those crazy things, but I just sort of, all of us at the stations, we just, took it for what it was and really jumped into the experience. And, it was a little nerve-wracking because you hear reality, and that sort of is this hot button word that has a lot of negative associations with drama and all those things. But I kind of just held on to this idea of, like, this crew from LA chose our station. They came here, they found us. So how could I say no to this? It's almost like it's being handed to you. And so I just always just like, all right, I'm gonna like make the best of this and trust that, my image and my career, I trusted the producers to do a good job. And looking now as it is about to air, I'm so happy because they really, like you said, they did a really great job. And I think that it really taps into something that's very sincere. And I think it's going to be something that people really enjoy to watch, and I'm happy to be part of it.
So the crew from LA, they found you. So did you have to submit anything, or were they just looking for TV stations or for whoever wanted to get involved, or was there an actual casting?
Yeah, they were actually just looking, which is so funny. They really wanted to do, the producer Ben Silverman, who's the Office connection, he, I think, might have had a local news job or maybe for whatever reason he had experience there early on in his career. And I think a lot of people who end up being in TV and being producers, they can trace their roots back to maybe a local station. So it was an idea that I guess had been, thrown around for a long time, but like you said, it had been tried and not done very well. And so this time they really wanted to try to do it well. So they called out a casting call to all these local stations, and my bosses, for whatever reason, just decided to go with it. And then I kind of was brought in once my bosses decided to have the interviews. And so then I was basically from the start, it was like a mutual thing where we Skyped with them and they saw potential, and then they were going to come, and it went from there. So it was sort of a mutual choosing, but there was no us turning in like our hats to try out, I guess.
Well, if you're a fan of The Office, then I'm sure you're going to like Breaking Greenville. And who knows, you know what they say, Lucy, when you get into this business, you got to be prepared to move anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe you'll end up staying in Greenville, huh? Maybe after hitting it big with the show.
Who knows? There's always that. I keep my options open.
Well, tell us when and where we can tune in to see you as we close here.
Exactly. It's going to be 10:30 p.m. tomorrow night, and it's going to be on True TV. You guys got to tune in and laugh along. I'll be watching.
All right. Well, we're excited, and we'll be watching too, Lucy. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you, Stephanie.
We're going to have more on Breaking Greenville posted to our website. Go to fox4morningblend.com.